I grew up playing Destiny. It was the game me and my friends played all of the time, spoke about on the playground, and would stay up to the early hours of the day playing. It was the game in our lives. While other titles like the new Call of Duties, Halos, Minecraft Worlds, and far more would come and go, the constant in our lives for that good half of a decade, pushing a whole decade, was this game. Over time though, something started to shift. Some may claim it's getting older, with time commitments to a game that is unsustainable. Others might say it's the game starting to lose its soul, and I believe many would agree that it started to take its player base for granted. The early years of Destiny 1 stay in my mind as some of my favourite times in gaming, doing Vault of Glass tens of times over the course of a few weeks to try and get Vex Mytha class, going flawless for the first time in Trials, or going in day one of hard mode of King's Fall. All of them were amazing activities to do, still having that charm of Destiny, always feeling like a genuine push for better content, and with that, a good grind that allows you to accomplish a lot, or at least it feels like it. After the first 2 years of Destiny, I found myself falling off the game for about 6 months due to the main raid team that I was a part of kind of disbanding, and then also my Wi-Fi was awful. As in 1 megabyte per second download, so you can imagine how bad my ping and upload speed was. Then we saw the release of Rise of Iron, and then eventually Destiny 2, and I was back in. During the first month of the release of the second title, everything was going amazingly well, and then I believe all of us kind of realised pretty quick that there wasn't really too much to do in the end game. Sure, you could go do some nightfalls and some raids, but besides this, the PvP didn't have tons going for it, Trials was hardly functioning if it was even working at the time. The removal of factions took away from any reason to grind levels outside of your light level, and then they started to drip feed us content in such small amounts that the game would just be a month's worth of genuine grind and then jumping on for a couple hours a week to stay on top of some things. It wasn't until the release of Forsaken where my thoughts on Destiny shifted, both for the best and the worst. Forsaken showed everyone what Destiny could be at its best. A game with a plethora of side content, endgame content, and genuinely good storytelling. We can never forget the most tragic moments as well that came from this, with Destiny's most emotional moment with Cayde 6 being taken out of action. The camaraderie that was felt in the player base was like the first couple of years of D1. Everyone wanted to find the small secret locations, grind out loot, and just have a good time in strikes and raids. It all felt perfect, but then a sinking realization came into play. After playing Forsaken for a month, even though it does have quite a lot of content, and it was a huge update in comparison to many other updates going for it, it kind of started to run into similar issues. Toxic try-hard raid teams making the game far less enjoyable for many players, and then the amount of content that was being drip-fed in over time was just getting progressively worse. After an issue that me and my friend had with a raid team that was truly toxic in that game, we ended up going and playing Black Ops 4 on release, a game that had genuinely a great BR. I don't care what anyone's opinions are, it was a good time. After 2018, my relationship though with Destiny did start to turn far more sour. I would come onto the game every now and again, wanting to play the new thing or tap back into those old feelings that were only there just a few years prior. Every time, however, it just felt hollow. Every expansion felt like the definition of overpromise and underdeliver. You then add to the fact that I then got my first full-time job, and bam, the desire to play a game that requires at least part-time working hours to even start to enjoy becomes far more draining on the soul. And I know that may sound contradictory to talk about how it has no endgame content, but the actual gameplay loop, to just grind out the same few strikes just for some exotics and not for other purposes as well, really makes it far more draining than anything that was in the first game. I will always love Destiny, and I will always wish it well, and I want to see it better than what it has become. I just feel as if we've all been burnt so many times over a decade of releases that it is nothing more than flogging a dead horse.